Welcome back once again here on the Roundtable program. Thanks for sticking with us. Tony Siebenak from Feed Lucas County Children here with us now, and also Stephanie Sheehan. She is from ProMedica, the Director of Community Relations. Both of them coming here to join us on the Roundtable, talk about the summer food program that's available to all those kids out there. Tony, a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the Jefferson Awards and the honor that you were bestowed, not only locally, but then obviously traveling off to D.C. Bring us up to speed once again, that experience and going through that whole thing.
I tell you, that was a really exciting moment to get to go to D.C. and represent child hunger at that level. But what was really neat is the stories we got to see from different people all around the United States.
What was the reception as far as your story, our story here?
I was really surprised how much attention we got about it. The one thing that we did learn that we were really surprised that here in this county, Feed Lucas County Children is feeding more than double the average amount of kids per day compared to the rest of the United States.
No kidding.
And that really goes down to all the volunteers and all the good people in this county. And so that was really exciting to hear about that. The other thing that was really remarkable that we were really surprised about, and this was in another trip that came from the Jefferson Award visit, was the feds are now taking a look at the food model that we use and looking at probably incorporating that in some other areas, some other states and things like that.
Yeah.
So it makes us feel good that what we've been doing in the last 10 years, that it could help other people in other states.
And programs like what we're talking about here in this segment, the summer food program. Stephanie, obviously I think we had you guys on last year to talk about this, and it's not so much we're running out of ideas, it's we want to get the word out so that people can take advantage of a program like this. Again, this year, going back at it, trying to get those kids, those areas of town. We did this Hope for the Hungry food drive over the last couple of weeks, and we were finding out about those gaps that exist in the zip codes around Toledo where they are meal deprived, more or less.
Absolutely. And what we find too at ProMedica, and a lot of times people ask us, why is a hospital or a healthcare system working on this issue? And we really see the health effects, the negative health effects of hunger on our community, and especially in our kids. They get sick more often, they miss more days of school, they aren't ready to learn. And so when we look at that, it's something that as a healthcare organization, when we're concerned and our mission is to improve the health and well-being of our communities, absolutely, like you said, we need to get some food into these kids, and the summer food program is the best way to do it because there are sites scattered throughout the community. Calling United Way's 211 is the simplest way to find the feeding site that is in your neighborhood, and it's free. There's no enrollment. All the kids have to do is show up.
And the mentality behind this is the kids out of school don't get those meals on a regular basis. It's a plain fact that you guys have stumbled upon, and you said we need to supply these, especially during the summer months.
Absolutely. When you look at the percentages of our kids in a lot of our schools, anywhere from 50% up to all the way up to almost 99% of our kids are on a free and reduced lunch program. And many of our schools, that means breakfast and lunch is being served at school. So during those summer months, where are those meals coming from? Where's that nutrition coming from for these children? And so the summer food program is able to help fill that gap.
Tony, as you try to put programs like this together, and we continually talk about the economy, and obviously it's difficult, but donations, are you still seeing, and we found with the Hope for the Hungry food drive, we had over 70,000 pounds of food donated, and it seems like the call is not going unanswered.
No, I think we live in a really wonderful community of people who are really willing to step up to the table. From our viewpoint, as we address the issue of the summer hunger, when we're out there trying, I mean, like we're this backbone to the summer hunger issue. We're reaching about 80% of it. But then when we look at all of our other people who are trying to help, like the Y, you know, you have Lourdes College, you have University of Toledo, you have other organizations out there that are trying to reach these kids. The problem that we're looking at is, you know, we're very fortunate to have some USDA funding to help with that, okay? But when someone really wants to know what's the core issue, what is it really going to take to reach more of these kids, it's really getting down into the neighborhoods. It's expanding, like our kitchen. We need to expand our kitchen. And I'll be honest with you, we can feed a lot more kids, but we need help expanding that kitchen. We need some more steamers. And it's just an education
Is it a mobility
thing.
issue as
No,
well? You talk about
no.
getting into the neighborhoods.
It's not a mobility. The biggest thing is you develop a relationship with neighborhoods. Okay, there is no fixed plan for every group of people that you're trying to help. The key is to be part of that neighborhood. Go and get involved, and then these families get to know what you're trying to do. Once you develop that relationship, then you see more parents, more of these kids start showing up, and the parents could take advantage of these meals. The problem is just not, a lot of times people think it's just in the inner city, but this goes from one side of the county to the other side.
Yeah.
It's not stopping. It's flowing right out into the suburbs, and those numbers are increasing. So,
Sylvania Area Family Services, an organization that I've been involved with over the last 10 years or so, and people sometimes peg some of the suburbs as those places that aren't depleted, that don't need the help. But Jason Robertson out there, the continued calls for help that he gets, I mean, people would be probably shocked at the number of calls, even communities like Sylvania, Perrysburg, you name it, that still need that help. Getting the word out, you said 211, calling the United Way, finding out where these sites are located is very important. But obviously, vehicles like this and just being out in the community, you guys did something this last Thursday where you actually went out. Once again, communication key.
Right. Absolutely. And one of the things that is incredibly important is that community engagement, working with the faith-based community, with those summer programs, with the neighborhoods in and of themselves, the parks and recreations and things like that, so that the kids and the parents have a trust that's built up so that they kind of understand what's going on. And I think then too, raising the awareness of the issue, going back to what you were saying about donations and contributions.
Yeah.
And Tony referenced the USDA. Absolutely, the food for this program is reimbursed by the USDA, but that still doesn't mean that we don't need volunteers, that we don't need other kinds of support to make sure that it's happening in as many places as we possibly can, because our kids have to walk to get there in most cases. So we need to have sites that are actually in the neighborhoods and are accessible for those kids.
Tony, you talk about that 20%. Is there an issue there? Parents, they want to be the providers. They want to be the ones to be able to get their kids what they need. But there seems to be sometimes that pride of not wanting their kids to have to go ask for handouts, that sort of thing. Is that part of the 20%, or is it something else?
well, when like you mentioned, Jason there in Sylvania.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've worked with him a lot of years, and that's a perfect example. It's just not Sylvania. It's in Maumee. Yeah, it's just sitting down with the parents and really having those conversations. When we're referencing 20% or so, we've just got to get out there and get into that community and just get involved. I mean, having a meeting to discuss these kind of problems is not really the real solution. It's getting in there and getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and making sure that people know the right information. Some of the statistics you pulled out already, I wanted to bring up one event that is happening at the end part of this month, July 27th, Hunger Awareness Family Festival. Talk about it.
Well, what we're doing, we want to draw more attention to healthy eating. So what we have going on next Saturday, it's not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we actually have drawn the largest, 2 years ago, the First Lady took the food pyramid and changed it to the My Plate. Mm-hmm. Well, we created the largest food plate in the U.S. on this field. And so we have this helicopter coming in. It's going to throw fruit and vegetables and turkeys and stuff on top of it. And it's a fundraiser. What we're trying to do is two things there that day. Information about healthier eating, because it's just not in the inner city, but even in our suburbs, we see where parents sometimes need a little help in learning more about healthy eating, better choices. And that's what the day is all about.
Yeah,
so we're going to have
simple.
a fun
Here's what you need to make for dinner.
Right.
Because every parent racks their brain every single night.
Right.
Oh, what are we going to eat tonight?
Right.
If they had that luxury, and that's what we say.
And the thing about it is, it's too easy to go out and spend $1 or $2 for that unhealthy meal. Mm-hmm. But in reality, with education and stuff, like the Y, they do a lot of things with the education, doing some really good work there to help educate parents that you can take your existing dollars, your limited funding, and you can actually go to the store and purchase good quality food, help them understand how to prepare it, and see these kids eat healthier, which then reduces the obesity, and the list goes on.
Right. The Hunger Awareness Family Festival happening at Centennial and Brent Road. You looking at 2 o'clock until 9 o'clock. That's just a field right there, correct?
Yeah, it's a field out there.
That's where they were parking for the LPGA this past week.
That's what they're doing right now. But it's going to be pretty neat. We just had a lot of activities for the kids out there. We even got these little model planes that are going to be flying around. The list goes on. But there's a lot of organizations that are going to be there to help provide information, hands-on, some educational things. And the whole idea is have the kids have fun, but they're also learning at the same time.
FeedLucaschildren.org, the website. You can read up about Tony's efforts, and of course ProMedica.org. Correct? Another website that you could go read up. And as we have seen, Stephanie, over the last couple of months talking about trying to make sure people are getting the essentials, not only feeding their mind, but also feeding their bellies.
Absolutely. It's incredibly important, and we're just so pleased to have great community partners who are with us on this journey, because we have a lot of work to do, but we've also come a very long way.
Yeah, well, keep us informed. The summer food program continues pretty much up until the start of school, which is going to be just like that around the corner. But as we go forward, we will continue to keep up to speed. And once again, we wanted to put out the thank you this morning and this afternoon when you may be watching at home to all of those who contributed to the 13 ABC Hope for the Hungry food drive. Once again, raising over 70,000 pounds. That's hard to put your mind around, but that contributes to almost 20,000 meals out there. And you at home did all of that. We appreciate all of your efforts and donations once again, this second effort here for the Hope for the Hungry food drive. We're going to wrap things up for this Sunday. Right after this, stay with us here on the Roundtable.